What plays black metal at dawn? Classic guitar at brunch. Black metal again before brunch is over. Techno at noon. Experimental at dusk. And new wave at night. I know you likely want to say CJSW, but the answer is actually the subject of today's episode of The Reference Desk. My name is Andrew Baldock, and I host this wandering feature dedicated to finding peculiar albums, artists of interest, and other oddities in the CJSW library. Today, I've pulled out Shadows of the Sun by Norwegian music collective Ulver. But before I get to that, let's take a look at the history of Ulver. At the start of the band's career, they were a fairly standard black metal group that combined harsh, distorted guitars and gentle acoustic passages. For an example, this clip is from their first album, Bergtatt. Their second album, Kveldsanger, departed from the standard black metal style of harsh guitars and recordings that sounded like they were made on a potato, instead opting for an entire album of clean guitars and haunting melodies. Christopher Rigg, the band's founder and only remaining original member, has stated that this album was a mistake and an immature attempt at making a classical album. So, if Kveldsanger took the gentle passages of Bergtatt and expanded them into a whole album, then Ulver's third album, Nattens Madrigal, is the exact opposite. And that ends the era of Ulver's history known as the Black Metal Trilogy. From here out, Ulver begins to branch out into pretty much every genre. Christopher Rigg invited composer Toriel Witziker into the collective to help the group expand upon their black metal boundaries, and the result was a work called Themes from William Blake's Marriage of Heaven and Hell. Which had musical influences from electronic music, industrial, progressive, ambient music, and other more avant-garde styles. It seems this was a bit much for the rest of the group, as for the next set of albums, all the way up to 2002, Ulver's only permanent members were Rigg and Toriel Witziker. Up until 2002, Ulver made primarily electronic albums, released on Rigg's own label, Jester Records, though it seems they had some difficulty breaking away from their black metal reputation. I'm saying this because the bands included this message in their liner notes of their fifth album, Metamorphosis. Ulver is obviously not a black metal band and does not wish to be stigmatized as such. We acknowledge the relation of Part 1 and 3 of the trilogy, Bergtatt and Nattens Madrigal, to this culture, but stress that these endeavors were written as stepping stones rather than conclusions. We are proud of our former instincts, but wish to liken our association with said genre to that of the snake with Eve, an incentive to further frolic only. If this discourages you in any way, please have the courtesy to refrain from voicing superficial remarks regarding our music and/or personae. We are as unknown to you as we always were. Alright, got it. Not black metal. After their foray into electronic music and dipping their hands into film soundtracks, Ulver's next phase of life begins and moves back into more traditional arrangements. The new direction also includes the primary subject of today's episode, Shadows of the Sun. Released July 2007, Shadows of the Sun received widespread critical acclaim. Many described the album as dark and tragic, while also coming across as relaxing and soothing, like a warm hug from a close friend after you've experienced some kind of trauma. Christopher Rigg claims Shadows of the Sun is their most personal record to date, and in an interview with Unrestrained magazine, he stated, "I am diagnosed depressive and should have been trying to focus on living. but instead I've immersed myself in some isolated, dark, and paranoid place. It has no doubt helped make this album what it is, but it's a prison of the mind. But while that's a somewhat grim explanation, Rig isn't letting it stop him. He goes on to add, "Sometimes all I see is darkness. It's overpowering. So this record is about venting out a lot of that stuff, the gloom, but it also represents some kind of quiet acceptance. Like, this is how the situation is, and you're just gonna have to live with it. Use it for what it's worth." The review from Sputnik Music described Shadows of the Sun's sound as a decidedly more subtle approach to songwriting, and the mood they're attempting to create, but what a mood it is. The feeling that you get while listening to this album could best be summed up by the word serenity. Granted, it is a somber form of serenity, but the word still fits perfectly. As if that doesn't hammer home what the tone of the album is, the first track, Eos, is a reworking of a song Ulver made for the 2004 film Uno, which is a funeral theme.
It's
So what went into making this album? Well, a lot more people than the past few Ulver albums, that's for sure. This iteration of Ulver consists of Jorn Sverren, who makes his first appearance on this album as a full-time Ulver member as opposed to a guest, Torjil Visaker, and of course Christopher Rigg. But for Shadows of the Sun, they brought in the Oslo Session String Quartet, as well as Matthias Eek on trumpet, Christian Fennes on additional electronics, Espen Jorgensen on electric and acoustic guitar, and Pamelia Kirsten on the hauntingly beautiful theremin. Torjil Visaker also took an entire year off in anticipation of working on this album to study classical composers and composition techniques. A lot of inspiration came from chamber music and other forms of classical. In fact, Rigg has said the album includes some of Schumann warped beyond recognition and some direct Wagner transpositions. In fact, the 8th track on the album, Funebre, is based entirely off of one single bar from Wagner and a small signature from Chopin. And those aren't the only things Ulver borrowed for Shadows of the Sun. The 7th track on the album, Solitude, is a cover of Black Sabbath.
world is a lonely place. You're on your own. Guess I will go home, sit down alone. Crying and thinking is all that I do. Memories I have remind me of you.
Lyrically, Shadows of the Sun touches on classic themes that span all genres of music: life, love, loss, and of course, death. Rigg commented that the creative process for the album was a humbling one that figuratively beat them down. Rigg and Sverren would get together for writers' nights where they would meet at Rigg's parents' cottage with a drink, some music, and their ideas to spend the whole evening dedicated to writing.
After the sunset.
For you hardcore Ulver fans out there, Shadows of the Sun has an ultra-limited run special edition vinyl that featured a t-shirt and a two-sided postcard, both designed by Stephen O'Malley of the Seattle-based drone doom band Sun, as well as a very nice, smooth varnish finished wooden box with the album logo branded on top. As of writing, one of these is available for purchase on Discogs for the bargain basement price of $620 Canadian, though sadly it does not include the t-shirt. That's it for this episode of The Reference Desk. For more interesting CJSW library finds, you can head over to cjsw.com and look up The Reference Desk for a whole bunch of previous episodes. Keep an ear out. You'll never know where the next episode of The Reference Desk will pop up next.